Why does a person that never was a slave deserve compensation from a person that never owned a slave?
Bank of America and much of the U.S. financial system were built on the profits from slavery, using enslaved people as loan collateral and even owning them when debts weren't paid. These same institutions, which grew into billion-dollar corporations from the slavery of our ancestors, continue to uphold systems of institutional racism that today prevent Black people from building generational wealth. The horrors of slavery didn't end with emancipation. They left deep scars that still shape the lives of Black people today. This inherited trauma, known as post-traumatic slave syndrome, is rooted in generations of violence, ripped apart families, and stolen identity. It continues to affect mental health, family relationships, and the overall well-being of Black people. The U.S. government has paid reparations to Japanese Americans interned during World War II, and even Americans held hostage in Iran. Yet the only people paid for slavery were the slave owners for losing their slaves after the Civil War. The victims of slavery were never paid. Our ancestors were stolen and endured some of the most violent atrocities in human history. So white people in this country could build their largely unearned generational wealth that they still sit on today, while Black people have been systemically denied the right to build and pass down the wealth we fought hard to earn for generations. Because every single time we did build, for example, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, the whites burned down the entire town and slaughtered every single Black person that they could find. You stole our ancestors. You stole their labor, which made the U.S. an economic superpower. You stole their futures. You dehumanized, brutalized, and traumatized them. Then that generational trauma was passed down to their descendants, who you continue to traumatize and brutalize with your systems of oppression put into place to limit and prevent us from creating generational wealth. And you refuse to dismantle your systems of oppression because that would be admitting that white prosperity was built on Black suffering. But you still owe for the centuries of unspeakable atrocities, because reparations are not charity. It's an unpaid debt that you owe.
So with everything that has been happening about the mass deportations and Black Americans saying that they're sitting everything out that is happening to the Latin community and happening to the country, it seems like so many people from the Latin community are not happy with what's happening. First, I came across so many videos of some people from the Latin community trying to justify as to why people should not face consequences because of using the N-word. We even saw some people during the protest using the N-words on a police officer that was just minding his own business. Mind you, he was not even an ICE agent. He was during the protest and he was out there doing his own business. And these two young people from the Latin community decided to use the N-word on him. I also came across another video of a lady trying to justify as to why that Hendrik Shiloh should not face consequences because of using the N-word. And now this video of this guy from the Latin community saying that Black people do not deserve reparations because why? They are not the ancestors that went through slavery, and people that are currently right now from the white community are not the ones that are supposed to pay for the crimes and the atrocities that their ancestors did. It's quite crazy because the Latin community is very angry with the Black people. Because why? It's not because the Black people are not supporting them with the protest. No, it's because Black people are not going through any of the things that they actually voted thinking that they will go through. They all voted for hatred and racism, and now that the Black community is not suffering as their community is suffering, they are very angry and they're trying everything possible that they can do to make Black people angry. And it's quite sad seeing these people. I wouldn't say it's because they're ignorant. No, they're not ignorant. They're doing all these intentionally. Because right now you cannot tell me that you cannot just go and pull up history on Google and get to learn of what reparation is and why Black people deserve reparations, but you want to come here on social media and create videos intentionally trying to make the Black community angry. I want us to watch these videos together, guys. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screens. So these videos is just for educational purposes only. Let's just dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary.
Why does a person that never was a slave deserve compensation from a person that never owned a slave?
The fact that this question is coming from a person of color makes this all the more despicable. But since you've shown the world how little you know about history and finances in this country, let me help you out just a little bit. And you don't need a college education to know this, maybe high school at the very least. You ready? The same way that generational wealth can be passed down through generations, generational debt can also be passed down through generations. If the descendants of slave owners who created these multi-billion-dollar financial institutions off of the free, back-breaking, unending 4 centuries, 12 to 16 generations of chattel slavery, is still benefiting from that wealth today in 2025, then why shouldn't the descendants of those slaves be able to have the debt paid to them that was never paid to their ancestors? It doesn't matter if the people now didn't own the slaves. What matters is that they are still benefiting from the wealth that was created because of those slaves who were never paid. Do you understand that? This is not rocket science, my friend. It's common sense, and clearly you're showing the world that you're void of it. And I'm not really sure what you're hoping to get out of this, but if you think your pandering, pick-me-ass behavior is going to get those same descendants of that generational wealth to give you a few dollars, then you have truly lost your mind. You will never be picked. You will never be in the situation that Black people are in today to be owed that generational debt. Because your ancestors, unless you are the descendants of African slaves, did not survive these horrific atrocities only to never be compensated. Baby, we didn't even get the 40 acres and the mule that was promised to us. But guess who did get paid for the losses that they incurred? I'm just going to go ahead on and tell you, because if you're asking this question, you're never going to be able to figure it out. The slave owners, which provided more wealth that they were able to invest and turn into business, multiply exponentially, and pass down through generations. I hope that helps you.
Hey TikTok, so once again, I'm going to go on my little rant about Latinos getting upset with Black people. And again, I just finished my podcast, Friendly Differences. Check it out on YouTube. And I just have to, shake my head because so many things have transpired during these ice raids. Latinos are really upset that Black people are not out there. And as one person said, why are you not asking the Muslims, the Asians, the Palestinians? Why are you not asking them? Why are you asking us? And I do take offense that you try to intermingle your pain with ours. We don't have the same pain, y'all. We don't have the same pain. And as somebody on my podcast said, y'all are being deported, taken back across the border. Y'all are being deported. They kill us. And I saw a TikTok the other day of some Latino girl boo-hooing. You don't know what it's like to be taken out of your home and dragged out of your home. You don't know what it's like to do that and be put somewhere and then they take you back across the border. You don't know what it's like. Yeah, really? Y'all getting across the border? They took us to the nearest tree. They took us to the nearest tree. We do know what it's like to be dragged out of your home. Why don't you, talk to Emmett Till? Oh, can't do that because he's dead. Talk to my 2 great uncles. Oh, can't do that. They were lynched. We don't know what it's like. How dare Latinos who are upset with black people because we're not protesting with you? I'm sorry, this thing just pisses me off. That you want to compare your experience with mine. With the black experience. You cannot do that. You have no right to our pain. You have no right to our trauma. You chose to come across the border. We are not immigrants. Black people are not immigrants in this country. We were brought here against our will. We were brought here in chains. And yes, undocumented people have contributed to the American economy, but so have black people. And we did it with our lives, with our blood, with our children's blood. Yes, they did family separations back in 2016. They're probably still doing it now. But our families were separated long before yours were. Long before yours were. We know what it's like to have family separations. Hell, they separated black families just so they can get public housing. The father had to leave the family. So now they dog us saying, oh, these single women, you all don't have fathers. It's all by design. And you want to compare your pain to ours. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you compare your pain to ours? And for those white people who want to speak up and say something, zip it. Don't say anything. Because even if you're as liberal as they come, zip it. You have no say. The only people that I would listen to in terms of comparing pain are Native American indigenous people. But I will not listen to a Latino say that our pain is the same. It is not. You chose to vote for Donald Trump. We're voting for Donald Trump. You had your way of protesting last November. You need to talk to your family members who voted for Trump overwhelmingly in 2016, in 2020, and in 2024. And I'll say it again. Democrats can be just as evil as Trumpers. I'm not going to say Republicans because there is no Republican Party anymore. They're Trumpers. But black folks, again, we know we're collateral damage. We know we're at the bottom of the totem pole. We know that neither party is for us. We know y'all Latinos out there calling us the N-word while you want us to sit up there and protest with you. We know Asians are out there calling us the N-word while they want us to protest with them. We know what people are saying about us. We know how people feel about us. But at least Democrats were pretending to say that, hey, we'll give you a path to citizenship. They've been saying it for forever. And y'all been saying, nope, we gonna vote this way. You consistently vote against your interests. I'm not coming to help you. If you're consistently putting your hand into the fire, I'm not going to be there with the water hose to put the fire out. I'm not going to be there with the bandits, with the bandages and the ointment to soothe your hand because you keep putting your hand in the fire. I'm going to let your house burn. I'm not standing with you. I'm not protesting with you because you're being deported. Talk to the people in your own group who voted for this man, who told you what he was going to do, who had a 900+ page book called Project 2025, who told you what he was going to do. But don't you dare come and compare your pain to ours. Like I said, they're taking y'all across the border. They're killing us. And they took us to the nearest tree. How dare you? And I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying this. And if you don't like it, don't listen. But my pain and my trauma and the pain and trauma of black folks and our ancestors do not mix with yours. Native Americans, I'll protest with you. I'll stand with you. I'll walk with you. All these Native Americans who, especially women who are disappearing mysteriously, yeah, I got my own little thing about that too. All by design. But Latinos, I'm not standing with you. Not on this. I'm sitting it out. We need a rest, black folks do. For me, you're on your own. Until next time, peace.
Why does a person that never was a slave deserve compensation from a person that never owned a slave?
Why is the person who owes his entire existence in this country to slavery now speaking against owed reparations? Why is the person who is not black not minding his own business about the black issues that don't concern him? This is just another situation where one of these coattail riders who, without slavery, without the existence of black people in this country, without all of the civil rights victories that black people spearheaded, shed blood, and lost their lives for, would not be in this country. His ancestors would have never been able to immigrate to the United States if it weren't for the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. Thanks again to Black Americans, Asian people could immigrate to the U.S., take out small business loans that were denied to black people, and open up small businesses in black neighborhoods, where some of those Asian immigrants perpetuated racism onto black people, even though their American dream was made possible by black people. You're welcome.
My problem is in entitlement and victims. Don't like that.
The freeloader that I'm responding to says that he was raised in a black neighborhood. I'm curious if this is the way that he ended up in that black neighborhood. The model minority myth was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding silence, obedience, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And this coattail rider is the embodiment of it, exploiting black struggle while groveling on his knees for validation from the very people who uphold his oppression.
I have a slightly hot take. It's probably already been said, but they don't want to give black people reparations because they know that if we receive reparations, we would leave. A lot of us want to leave, and the big reason why we don't leave is because we have no means to leave. We don't have the money to live somewhere else. We're barely living here. So, they know. Also, they're fucking cruel and just disgusting, but they know if they gave us reparations, we would leave and they would have nobody to oppress. They would have nobody to do whatever the fuck they want to do to. And they keep talking about birthright citizenship, and they got their way with the Supreme Court. We all know that. But they do know that it applies to them mostly. I don't think it matters because, you know, in the back of their minds, they probably do understand that it applies to them, but they don't think that the rules apply to them ever anyway. So, but if you start rounding up black people because for whatever reasons you decided we're not citizens, where are you deporting us to? Although, let's not kid ourselves, we know that it's not about deportation. It's about kidnapping. It's about doing the same thing that they did hundreds of years ago. If they figure out a way to do it, they probably will. But again, that's why we'll never get reparations, period. Under any administration. Never. They don't want us to leave. They want us here.
So I'm going to say this because I just saw a video pop across my timeline that was strange and a bit disturbing to me. But I'm gonna put it to you this way. If you are black and you out here talking about somebody can call you a vine-swinging monkey and you still gonna show up for them, baby, what you are talking about is not solidarity. That is servitude. Okay, that is a degradation kink. You are offering up your services as a sub. And go with your move, live your life. I don't kink shame over here, okay? But you don't get to project that onto the rest of us and chastise us because we don't want to participate in that particular power dynamic. Here's the thing. Solidarity is absolutely important. Yes, struggles globally are interwoven and there's a lot to be gained from us fighting together. However, we must at all times insist upon our humanity, especially because anti-Blackness is global, especially because folks worldwide have been conditioned and indoctrinated to not view and treat us as human beings, but to treat us as sites of labor and sites of extraction and sites of production. So we have to employ some sense of transaction in order to retrain folks to engage with us as human beings. Now, I don't know what kind of trash pandas is in your bloodline that would possess you to get online and say some crazy shit like that with your whole chest. But I implore you, if you got some elders, if you got some whatever, go get in community with them, because coming on here and saying some shit like that is wild. Okay? Wild. Like, again, solidarity is important, but our self-respect and our dignity as human beings is more important than solidarity. I'm just going, that's more important, G.
It's crazy, guys, and very hurting seeing this happening and seeing all these people from the Latin community creating all these videos that they're actually doing intentionally, because I'm seeing people saying they're doing this out of ignorance. No, it's not out of ignorance. It's because they're intentionally trying to hurt the Black community. And I'm just sitting here like wondering, why are they so ungrateful? The reason why so many people are like have been able to come, live, work, and study in the United States of America, it's because of the blood and the sweat that was shed by the Blackamericans. Whether you want to say ancestors or the current Black-Americans that we're having, it's still Black-Americans that are still putting the efforts. You see, all these privileges and all these benefits that you're getting in the United States of America, it's the fight of the Black-Americans have been putting out there. And during the campaigns, Black-Americans were warning you to not go ahead and vote against your own self-best interest. But none of you listened, because you thought that when you vote as you voted, Black-Americans are the ones that are going to be affected, as it has always been, like systematically. Most of the issues that have been there in the United States of America, even these illegal immigrants, most of them were not being affected by the things that are actually affecting the Black community. And this time around, because things are not as they expected, they are really hurt and don't even know what to do. And this is why you're seeing so many of them creating videos, not because out of ignorance, but intentionally trying to get the Black-Americans angry. Like those people you saying and trying to justify as to why they should use the N-word, asking why are Black-Americans actually being able even to monetize the N-word when they use it in their songs and everything they do, you know. They are trying so hard to get something that will get the Black-Americans angry, or maybe have them on the streets, as the new administration has been trying, or get them react. They're not even grateful for what Black-Americans have been doing. You having your kids to be able to live and study in the United States of America, it's because of the fight of the equal rights that Black-Americans have fought for each and every other American citizens, or each and every other person staying in the United States of America, either legally or illegally. Because some of these benefits that even these that have been put there for the American citizens to get, get, even some of these illegal immigrants were actually getting them. Benefits that even some Black Americans were not getting them, and they're the ones who actually fought for these benefits. So your own people being angry because Black Americans are not supporting you. Like, why are you not angry with your own community that went on ahead and voted for your people to get deported? Like 60% of the Hispanic community voted for Trump. And during the campaigns, Trump was loud and clear that the first day in office, he's gonna launch the largest mass deportation that has ever been in history. And he even went on ahead and told you that he doesn't care about you. All that he wants is your vote, and you still went on ahead and voted for him. Even after all the insult, he was not hiding. This was not post that he was posting on his X account. Like, these are the things that he was saying live during his campaigns, but you still went on ahead and voted for that. So when you sit there and ask why should Black Americans get reparations from people that didn't enslave them, because you're saying, your point is that it's the people that were enslaved, their ancestors, that should be getting these reparations, and it's the white community ancestors that should be paying these reparations and not Black Americans. So you want to just sit there and not look at all the issues that Black Americans are going through, and these are the results of slavery. Look at the wealth gap between Caucasian Americans and the Black Americans. So Black Americans who were forced to work for years with no compensation, with no pay. Like, all these people that are owning these big ranches. Like, I saw a video of this guy that actually said that his family owned their ranch or their farm that they have that is acres and acres. It's like, it's very huge, for over 300 years. And this was not originally for their families. They came and grabbed that land. And Black Americans were left with nothing. And every time that Black Americans are always trying to rise up, there is always something that has been put there to pull them back. Look at all those neighborhoods that are actually buried underwater. You know, there is a lot that we can learn about Black Americans, about their history that they go through and everything that they've been facing. But most of us just choose to be very ignorant, come in social media, or intentionally trying to attack Black Americans, because I've realized when most people are creating these TikTok videos, especially when they're in the United States of America, these videos are actually paying them, and they're getting money from these, and they know that from creating this video will bring traffic to their content, to their account. People will stitch their videos, people will duet their videos, and Black Americans will come on the comment section calling them out, sharing the video. So when I say most people are not doing these videos out of ignorance, they're just doing these videos intentionally, knowing that these will actually make Black Americans angry, run to their comment section on TikToks, and also stitch the videos, and it will bring traffic on their TikTok accounts. So when you sit there and say that these people are doing this out of ignorance, I don't agree with you. They're doing this intentionally just to make Black Americans angry. And instead of them even using their platforms, because so many of these videos are going viral, instead of them using their platform to educate their own community about the Black American history and as to why Black Americans are actually sitting down everything that is happening to their own community with the mass deportation, they are just choosing violence. And this is why Black Americans are like, you know, once when a person shows you who they are, just trust them, believe them, because there is no way that I can believe that some of these people from this community are actually gonna change or come later and say that they understand and they are like in unity with the Black community. Because now is the time that I'm seeing so many people creating videos asking for unity from Black Americans, saying that this is the time that they should be united. The reason is because when they are united, it's easy for them to defeat their oppressor. And I'm sitting here asking myself, where was this unity that you're all asking for on November 5th? Where was this unity when Black American creators were creating videos telling you not to go on ahead and vote against your own self-best interest, when some of you were creating videos calling them woke, loud, ghetto, insulting them, when all they were trying to do was to help you, when all they were trying to do is to make you, like, you know, not have any of the issues that you're facing currently. But none of you listened. And now, because most of you are very angry, now so many people have even opened TikTok accounts to come and talk about the Black community not supporting the Latin community. Some of them insulting them, some of them trying to justify using the N-word, some of them trying to justify as to why Black Americans should not get reparations. It's so crazy, guys, and it's sad that this hatred is deeply rooted in some of these people and in this community, not each and every person, but I've seen a good number of them that really has too much hatred for the Black community. And when you ask them as to why they hate the Black community so much, they'll have no answer. It's something that they've been learning, something that they've been getting from their parents. You know, you've seen videos where, you know, some people from the Hispanic community will be like, my mama said that we shouldn't date Black guys. My mom said that I shouldn't hang out with Black kids at school because, you know, they are ghetto, they are, you know, thieves, a lot that they call the Black Americans. So when I say this hatred is deeply rooted in some of these people in this community, it's true, because they even get to teach their kids at a younger age. They get to be taught that they should not try to date or get married to a Black man, or when they're guys, you should not try and date a Black woman. When you're a guy, kids are taught not to interact with other Black kids in schools. And this is why you see this community, they've always felt like they're different from the Black community, or they've always thought that they'll be treated differently from the Black community. And now that they are realizing that the white Americans see them just as the same as the Black community, they're angry. You know, they are really getting hurt, and their ego is being hurt because they thought they were special, and now that they're learning that they're not special, and they're learning it when it's too late for them, when they've already messed their community, when they already messed all the chances that they had with the Black Americans. I don't know what your thoughts are, guys, on the comments section. I really want to know what you think about this, especially if you're Hispanic watching this. Let me know what you think about this guy that's saying Black Americans don't deserve reparation on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this part, and until the next episode, bye.